And he's about to hit our screens again in Noel Barber's steamy bestseller, The Other Side of Paradise, as a young English doctor who embarks on a turbulent relationship with a society girl and a forbidden love affair with a native princess.
It's so beautiful here.
It's a place of peace. So many people.
Many more could have died. You hadn't. You're honest, Jim.
It was all arranged. It was my father's wish.
And you? What do you wish?
I am Riki. That means I am responsible for my people. I must go now.
Why?
So you can find your peace.
Welcome, Connery. Thank you. It's all right, calm down. Look here. I know it was a funny series to make because of the situation, two women getting. Was it hot and steamy? I've got to get this right. Climactically, the climate.
Yes. Not quite, but it was easier than I anticipated. I was quite relieved actually when we got there. The island in the middle of the South Pacific. I mean, really are a sort of tenuous island in the middle of nowhere. It takes 45 minutes to drive around the whole island. It's great for me because I get lost in a telephone box. So, so if you start off one way, you'll eventually get to where you're going anyway because it's just, and you're just in the middle of the sea and a big wave came, you feel as if you've been taken away and nobody would know for a couple of years.
How much do you actually get to see though when you go filming? I mean, a lot of people think it's just luxury hotel, limousine, set, back again, don't see the people.
No, the hotels are never above the tree line on this island. It's very simple accommodation but very nice. I mean, they've tried to sort of keep into traditional mould. And we very much, a lot of the natives of the island were in the show and very much involved in everything that was going on. So they sort of came into our lives in the work sense, and then we went into their lives in the families and the kids everywhere, and they all wanted to show us how they actually lived, you know, and everything. It was really nice to be there. They were very, very endearing and very attractive people.
You held the premiere over there, didn't you?
That's right. I wish I'd been there actually, because they all went crazy, and because every time they saw one of their friends or them, you know, they were all had to keep stopping the film and rewinding.
Oh, great! What a lovely experience that must have been. Now it's based, isn't it, on the Noel Barber book? It's not a faithful adaptation.
No, that's right. It's just basically it only covers about the first, I don't know, 100 pages, something like that. It's the setup of the story. The young doctor who goes to Coraluna, as it's called in the program, and all the different characters. Basically, the initial characters are set up, and then the story progresses. But in the book, the story progresses to such length. It's a very big book and goes off, and the princess goes to America, and the various things happen. So we kept it very much. Yeah, it does wander quite a lot.
But how useful is that to you as an actor when you're doing a film of something that's from a book? I mean, do you read the book?
Yeah, often I'd read a book or anything to do with it, really. Any other, for instance, if I was doing, when I did Journey's End, I read a lot of war poetry, which was about the First World War, and a lot of research, you know, and also about what it'd be like to be a soldier in the trenches in that way and things. And you can build up a real mental image, and there are always little things that you pick up, little nuances that may not be in the script at all, and you put in and hopefully make it sort of more three-dimensional and whole.
Because we had Wilbur Smith in the other day, and he said he doesn't like film adaptations of his books, but he doesn't mind the miniseries because they don't.
Well, I can understand that, because in a miniseries you get the chance to set the scene, and then you get a whole progression, and there's a whole sort of gamut of things that happen especially in Wilbur Smith. It's very epic proportions, and you've got hundreds of different characters, and you've got different avenues to travel up, and you can't do it in 2 hours. And in a miniseries, you get that wonderful ability to carry it on through you know, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is. And he writes those sort of wonderful, huge, epic, expansive stories with hundreds of different people and emotions and everything.
There's a whisper about you doing somebody else's book soon, isn't there?
Well, well, yes. We were talking about this earlier. There was Jilly Cooper's obviously got a series of books out, and one of the rights has been bought to the first one, Riders, and they were. I didn't know the books that well, but a lot of people talked about the character Rupert Campbell Black.
Oh, swine.
But and so I read the book on that, but whether that happens or not.
Do you like playing unattractive parts? Would you play unattractive physically parts?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me anyway, personally, the whole sort of joy of doing what I do is hopefully the ability to diversify. I mean, you were talking just before about you know, I think everybody seems to be categorized very much. It's sort of very easy for journalists and casting directors and various people to sort of pigeonhole you. Oh, that's what he does, or that's what she does. And I think it's much more exciting to not be pigeonholed.
Have you ever played a lout, though, a sort of beery, boozy-looking, scrubby lout?
No, I've played a real nasty piece of work. It was a very, and the only reason I got to play it really was because it was some friends making the film, and it was very low budget, and because normally I wouldn't be thought in that role, but I played a real little.
Yes.
Yes, and I had great fun doing that. I shaved my head and wore little round glasses, and committed various crimes, which I didn't do physically, but I told people to do in a very charming way.
Has the name ever closed doors to you? Being, you know, Sean's son, has it ever closed a door because you'd be thought to be too famous or whatever?
I don't know. You see, I'm never on the inside of the door. If it has been closed, I'm always on the outside anyway, so I don't know why it's been closed. But I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I'm often asked, you know, if it's good or bad. I really couldn't tell you because I haven't been anything else as far as being the son of someone famous. But it definitely is something that is given a lot of attention.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Which means that some things that you think are more important aren't given as much attention. So in a way, it can be, you know.
It might open a few doors for you in the project you're hoping to get off the ground, which is an H.E. Bates.
That's
play,
right. Yes, Feast of July. It's just a really good story, really solid. Playing a farmer, and he's. I just think it would be a very interesting film to do, and unfortunately, they need £500,000. So if anyone's.
Well, what about? Listen, I have read in the papers at the weekend that Michael Caine wants to set up a film company in this country, and
right. Well,
you know, I'm sure he knows the Connery name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, might even give him a part.
He's probably watching, so he'll be on the line to you a little bit later.
Right.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Connery.
Thank you.
Actually, so you're staying with us because we're going to be used as stooges for my final guest today, who refers to himself as a corporate entertainer or mentalist. Well, I won't hold that against him. Please welcome back Graham Jolly. Graham, what's a mentalist?
Hello, Judy. What is a mentalist?
Yes.
Well, it's a person who involves people with experiments in chance, suggestion, probability, telepathy.
You don't like the word tricks or magician or...
No, I'm aware of some magician's techniques, but I very rarely use them, only when I'm under pressure.
You don't look like somebody who would be in showbiz, if I can be so rude.
No, I used to be a merchant banker.
Yes.
But other people think I still am. And but I left the bank about 15 years ago. I had a wonderful opportunity. I was invited to study parapsychology with Dr. Eugene Wolf at the Unstock Institute in Leningrad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not strictly true. There's a bloke called Sid in Clacton, but
Sounds as good anyway, doesn't it?
But I study in various sources. You know.
Well, I won't say a trick, but you've got a little event for us now. You've put that tray of watches there.
Yes, we've collected these. One of the producers collected a few from the audience, I believe. Yes. And I noticed that, Jason, you have a rather nice watch, and I think a lot of people can see this. Could I borrow it just for a moment, Jason?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much indeed.
That's an after mine.
Jason, I've got one of our balls in already. Now, would you... Not too much noise, please. Jason, would you object if I alter the time on your watch?
No, no, certainly
Okay.
go ahead.
I'm going to set your watch, if I may, to a time, I think about there. Jason, would you please hold your left hand out flat and just close your hand around the watch? I wonder if you just hold it like that so we can get it in shot.
Right.
Now, let's take one of these watches. This is where I'd like you to help me, Judy.
All right.
Oh, the winder won't come out. Okay, let's try it. Oh, no, rather nice piece. Pocket watch. Judy, I'm going to ask you to take this watch.
Yeah.
And in a moment, I'd like you to set it to a time. Will you do that for me?
Yes.
Just going to ask Judy to set the watch to a time. Before you do this, just hold the watch, would you? Turn the winder around just to familiarise yourself with the watch, backwards and forwards. Everything okay? Would you stop? What time, Judy, have you stopped the watch to?
I tell you,
Please.
26, 25 past 5.
Okay, would you close the lid? Turn the hands around again, would you? Hand me the watch. Now this time you couldn't see because the lid was closed, so obviously it'd be purely random. This time it's what? Well, you didn't move it much, about quarter past 5, is that right?
Yes.
Judy, this is the important one. Take the watch, turn the hands around again once more, and this will be the time we will use.
We have never met before.
I know. Just in a previous life. Like Mensa's waiting room.
Don't know.
Hold the watch in your hand, would you?
Oh, how much more?
May we just recap? Jason, you lent me your watch, is that true? Which I've set to a time which you have in your hand. And Judy set the pocket watch to a time, which I believe... Would you just open your hand, Judy? I'm not absolutely sure if I'm 100% correct. What time, Judy, does the watch say? What time do you set the watch to?
5 to 8.
5 to 8. I don't know if viewers can see that. 5 to 8.
Yeah.
You know, this is extraordinary. 5 to 8. Jason, you have your own watch in your own hand.
Yep.
What is the time on your watch?
5 to 8.
Oh, I don't.
Amazing. You know, folks, I've got to say, I must say this, I feel genuinely privileged to be here today and to have witnessed this. I'm obviously alone. Now the interesting thing is I'm normally about 9 hours out. That's quite a breakthrough.
That is amazing. The thing I like about you is that I actually did stooge for you probably don't remember, at a corporate entertainment.
You were in the audience, weren't you?
I was.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I mean, forgive me if